Hello and welcome to World Alert News. We're glad you joined us on the news channel for today's top stories. Good evening. We begin tonight with a full 31-day update. We have a complete analysis for you, our UK viewers.
Breaking news tonight. The escalating conflict in the Middle East is driving a global energy crisis, causing oil and gas prices to spike worldwide. Good evening. We begin tonight with a world alert as missile attacks escalate. We'll have a detailed breakdown of the airstrikes and the diplomatic moves happening right now.
Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about the ongoing war between the United States, Israel, and Iran, which has now entered its 31st consecutive day. This conflict has captured global attention due to its potential to reshape political alliances, energy markets, and regional stability. For viewers in the UK, it is important to understand not only what is happening on the ground but also how this situation could affect global economics, energy supplies, and international security. The war began earlier this year when the United States and Israel launched joint military operations targeting strategic Iranian military and nuclear sites. These strikes were described as precision attacks intended to neutralize potential threats that could endanger Israeli and American interests. In response, Iran carried out counterattacks using long-range missiles and drones aimed at Israeli and American targets. The situation escalated further when reports emerged of an assassination attempt on Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. This event intensified military alertness in the region and increased the stakes for all involved parties. Adding to the complexity, Houthi militias in Yemen, who are allied with Iran, began striking Israeli targets and shipping routes in the Red Sea. These actions raised immediate concerns regarding maritime security and the uninterrupted flow of oil, which is critical to the global economy. Over the past 31 days, the conflict has intensified across multiple fronts. The United States and Israel have maintained ongoing airstrikes on Iran's military and nuclear infrastructure. Israel claims to have destroyed several key strategic sites, including missile installations and command centers, while Iran continues to retaliate with missiles and drone attacks targeting Israeli cities and critical infrastructure. The Houthi attacks from Yemen have added another layer of tension, particularly affecting shipping lanes that are vital for global energy transportation. On the ground, Israeli forces have increased their presence in southern Lebanon to counter Hezbollah activity, while Iran has reportedly reinforced its military positions across its provinces. Key Israeli facilities, such as oil refineries and energy plants, have come under missile attack, highlighting the risk to civilian areas and essential infrastructure. The Strait of Hormuz and other Red Sea shipping routes have become increasingly risky, raising concerns over potential disruption of global oil supplies. The global impact of this conflict is significant. Oil prices have risen sharply due to uncertainty and supply disruptions. The surge in energy costs is already affecting households and businesses in the UK and Europe. Supply chains for various goods, particularly energy-related commodities, have been destabilized. Economists warn that prolonged conflict could result in higher inflation, shortages of essential goods, and increased economic pressure worldwide. From the American perspective, the United States has indicated that it is prepared for a prolonged military engagement if necessary. While strikes continue, Washington has not entirely ruled out diplomatic channels. Reports suggest that Pakistan and other regional powers may play a mediating role in potential peace talks. The U.S. has also suggested that changes within Iran's leadership could create opportunities for moderation, though these statements remain contested on the international stage. Iran, on the other hand, has strongly warned against any potential U.S. ground invasion, stating that such an attempt would be met with full retaliation. Iranian forces have maintained missile and drone strikes against Israeli targets while reinforcing their defensive readiness. Coordination with Houthi militias has allowed Iran to maintain influence over strategic areas and create additional pressure on Israel. Despite framing these actions as defensive, the conflict has caused civilian casualties and significant damage to infrastructure, contributing to an escalating humanitarian crisis in the region. For UK viewers, the implications of this conflict are direct and important. Rising oil prices, driven by instability in the Middle East, are affecting energy bills and the cost of living. Disruptions to maritime shipping through the Red Sea and Strait of Hormuz are impacting global trade, which can influence prices of goods and overall economic stability in the UK. Politically, the UK is closely monitoring the situation, evaluating options ranging from diplomatic pressure to potential support for sanctions or coordinated international responses. Humanitarian concerns are also significant. Civilian casualties in Iran, Israel, and Gaza continue to rise, and the displacement of people from conflict zones is creating a refugee situation that may affect European and UK-based humanitarian programs. The human cost of this conflict is severe. Thousands have already lost their lives, millions have been displaced, and critical civilian infrastructure such as hospitals, schools, and residential areas has been damaged. The psychological and economic toll on populations affected by the war will likely persist for years, creating long-term instability in the region. Looking forward, the conflict could take several paths. If diplomatic negotiations fail, escalation may continue, drawing in more regional actors and further disrupting international trade and energy markets. Conversely, ongoing talks mediated by Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey could potentially lead to ceasefire agreements, though achieving lasting peace remains uncertain. A prolonged conflict could have major consequences for global energy markets, disrupt international shipping, and increase geopolitical tensions, especially in Europe and the UK. Civilians remain at the center of this crisis, suffering from injuries, displacement, and loss of essential services. The ongoing conflict highlights the urgent need for diplomatic efforts to prevent further escalation and to mitigate the humanitarian crisis. In summary, the war between the United States, Israel, and Iran is now in its 31st day, with continuing airstrikes, missile attacks, and ground operations. The global ramifications are clear, with energy prices rising, supply chains under pressure, and political tensions increasing. For the UK audience, understanding this conflict is vital because it directly affects energy costs, economic stability, and international security. The situation remains dynamic, and international diplomatic efforts are ongoing, but civilian casualties and humanitarian concerns continue to grow. It is essential to stay informed and aware of the developments, as they may have far-reaching implications beyond the Middle East. If you want to understand the full scope of this conflict, watch closely, follow credible news sources, and consider the broader implications for global energy, security, and politics. Awareness and knowledge are key, especially when a crisis of this scale unfolds in a region as strategically important as the Middle East.